Hello and welcome to Back to the Boardroom. I'm Greer.
And I'm James.
And this week we're talking all about shopping channels and terrible products, which I'm so happy we've got so many top moments this week.
It was such a good episode, right? A lot of facial reactions, a lot of good and bad moments, probably more bad.
And some excellent quotes this week, especially from Lord Sugar, which I'm sure we'll get onto at the Back to the Boardroom segment. But shall we do a bit of a roundup of the task before we go into some of our favourite quotes of the week?
Yes, so it is the infamous TV selling task. So each team had to, choose a general area of items that they wanted to sell. They were allowed to pick 3 standard items and then a star item in which I guess the value was higher and hopefully the popularity as well. So they had to choose those, and then obviously half the team present and half the team produce.
Exactly, and it usually goes down pretty well on the, or I was going to say pretty badly on the presenting side. Usually they're not very good, but I thought some of them were actually okay this time. Chisola, Mia, Amber Rose, if The Apprentice doesn't work out, they could have a career at the shopping channel.
Absolutely.
And so obviously we start in our favourite way. Lord Sugar yet again goes rogue and doesn't turn up, but this time he's talking in the cinema room. And I've just written Lord Sugar in the cinema room on my notes, which sounds like a new version of Cluedo.
He is in the office though, to be fair, or on set.
Okay, we'll give him some points back. But I also thought it was funny that some of them were still stood around sort of after hours in their suits, suited and booted, and then other people were in hoodies. I just like that. Immediately, I would be in hoodie after the task.
I presume it was immediately after they got in from the previous firing. And I love how the narrator went, 8 p.m, relaxing at home.
They look really relaxed, don't they?
Yeah.
All stood there in a group.
Exactly, with all those cameras in front of them.
Yeah, I know. It must be such a weird environment, but I like the idea they've got a cinema room, so that is quite fun.
They looked so surprised. It's like that's the first time they were allowed in the cinema.
Yeah, it's usually locked. They've got no idea what's behind the door, but they say there's a cinema room, so it's all in the tabloids. Who knows? But there was some words straight at the beginning that carried the whole way through the episode between Dean and Max. There was a little bit of rivalry, I thought. They weren't very heated. They were quite professionally bickering. Straight at the beginning, Max was given the project manager because I have some experience in live streaming, which sounded very ominous. I was like, what have you been live streaming in your spare time, Max? But it turns out it was some sport.
Yes, something to do with Wimbledon, I think, or at Wimbledon. Yeah.
Which is good, is impressive. I guess it's a sales task as well, so I could see where Dean was coming from, but their sort of quiet professional rivalry carried on straight through to the boardroom at the end.
100%, and we'll get into that later.
Definitely. So there were so many top moments that we could go through this week. Do you have a standout one to begin with?
I think... What are you doing, you dipstick?
That's a good one.
Is probably my top moment. And that is from Lord Sugar to Liam, not in person, in relation to Liam fumbling with the vacuum cleaner.
Oh, that was an excellent moment. Come on, how he picked it up, it completely broke. And then he was holding sort of a part of the vacuum cleaner while trying to sell it. So it did look broken. The other half was shoved on a sideboard. And then when he was hoovering with like a tiny sort of, I actually used the word that he said, shaft, which I thought was funny. I noted that down as a top moment that he used that word. It was a really small hoover in the end and it looked ridiculous.
Yeah, and he took about a minute to turn the thing on.
You can tell that Liam's probably never hoovered in his personal life.
Yeah, indeed.
I think my favourite quote out of the whole thing is when Dean and Max were trying to get Amber Rose to put that facial steamer on her face, and she just wouldn't do it. Obviously, I know she was saying it's so she could show off her face and talk to the camera, but obviously she didn't want to ruin her makeup.
It's
that
the
must
makeup,
be what
yeah.
it is. Yeah, makeup. So I've written down, can you get it on your face, please? And put it on your face, Amber Rose.
Oh, brilliant. I feel like that product was a definite plant for something to happen like that, because, I'm glad. I think she made the right choice in ignoring it, because it would ruin the makeup.
It would. You might have had some mascara dripping or something, depending how much steam it throws out. But I like
exactly.
Can she hear us, or is she ignoring me?
To be fair, given that they were constantly badgering in her ear, she kept going, and I think that's insanely hard.
Yeah, that is a good skill, and you could see that Liam didn't possess it, so it made it even more impressive that the others seemed to be doing it quite well. Liam stopped mid-sentence a lot of times.
Indeed.
One thing that I have to bring up is obviously the terrible products that people are picking, or in themselves they're not terrible, but why would you pick some of them? We had obviously the picnic blanket, the real leopard print robe, a kayak, but then the worst one for me was, I don't even know what they're called, anti-aging mitts, sort of these oven glove looking things that had colourful lights in. You've got the technical term.
The handy lights, apparently, that's what they were called.
Great, of course. The handy lights, which definitely didn't have any health or beauty benefit, because they had to keep saying sorry for their claims, but they were also £599.
I'm sorry, I hope this doesn't offend anyone, but who in their right mind would pay for that?
I don't know. The idea that it would completely take the wrinkles off your hands was interesting. It's not something I've thought too much about, the wrinkles on my hands, or whether I'm going to develop some more over time. But I don't think I'd be paying £600 to definitely not get rid of them.
Although it might be a good business idea, get some netting and put a few LEDs with a battery pack, and then boom, £500.
That is true. You could use that for anything, though. You could say the Christmas light effects with the battery packs, which you could probably pick up Poundland. There must be some fairy lights at Poundland for £1. You, as you said, get some netting, and just claim that it anti-ages every part of you.
Yeah.
Just randomly, anti-aging for your elbow or your ankle. Yeah. You could do loads.
It isn't a TV selling Apprentice task without an apology, or two in this case.
It was very cringe, the apology. Yeah. I couldn't watch that bit.
Yeah, definitely. But given we've gone through those, I would like to bring it back to some positive moments on my top moments. And, well, firstly, I think Mia did an absolutely fantastic job with selling the leopard robe set?
Yep.
I think it was. Great. Less so with the air fryer, sadly.
I think she was talked over quite a bit, but I think she missed a trick there as well.
But yeah, I think Mia and Chizola both did very well. I think it's not an easy task, so yeah, good on them.
Definitely. I like it that we have some positive moments this week. I've written down she's done brilliantly about Mia. Lord Sugar actually said that. I think one of the new elements that I really loved about this episode was having Lord Sugar and his grandson doing a goggle box and watching what they were doing either live or afterwards. But I really enjoyed their comments, because it is one of those things you want to see Lord Sugar react to immediately rather than going through it all again in the boardroom at the end. So I loved that.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like they swapped the format up a bit for this episode, and it worked. And I think previously they would alternate between the teams. And I like the cohesion of seeing one team and then the other team. So, yeah.
Made for good comparison.
Indeed.
I hope they switch it up and have Lord Sugar. I like the idea of him adding his like angry comments throughout the episodes in various different tasks. I'd like to see Karen ring him up or something, and then it cuts to him, doing some work on his desk, and you hear a story, Karen saying, "Oh, the contestants are doing this, you wouldn't believe it," and he's, saying something hilarious or annoyed down the phone. I hope they rework that in. I'd like more Lord Sugar reaction.
That'd be cool. I hope maybe he'll be an interviewer in the interview stage. That would be a random thing.
It would. That would be a way that they could shake it up even more.
Yeah, indeed. Although I hope he doesn't replace Claude, because...
No, we need Claude.
You can't replace Claude.
Savage Claude. One thing that I know we go through so many top moments, but it made me laugh so much is when randomly they said a lady called Margaret has just bought one for the Hoover, I think, and Liam was just trying to put the Hoover together and then randomly just said, "Thank you, Margaret," and then said, I don't know how this thing works, and blah, 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 and back to his sales pitch, but it was just deadpan, "Thank you, Margaret," not even looking at the camera. So anyone else watching would have been like, what? What have you just said, Margaret?
Yeah, exactly. And my final two things are both gallery related. So from one team, I think they were saying more passion, more energy in the gallery. And that's, more passion, more energy. Who doesn't know that? And the from the other side, I really like Dean's enthusiasm. I thought, he was trying to hype it up and do something different. And yeah, I like that. I think it was a risk, but I think it was needed.
And now it's time for our elevator pitch. And this week, I'm even more scared, more than usual, because James says he has a brand new idea for something we can do. So what is it, James?
Well, first of all, I think we need a bit more time for this one. So we are doubling it to 60 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Of pain, not of fame, of pain.
Yes.
And for those 60 seconds, we're actually going to be working in pairs, but swapping the roles. So we'll do it twice, where we essentially will probably use ChatGPT as a little bit of a helping hand. But one of us is going to be in the gallery giving commands, and the other person is going to be presenting. So, Greer, you're going to have to work your magic and turn off the gallery later on.
That is hard. So I have to get through my sales pitch to our listeners of Back to the Boardroom while you're talking in my ears, telling me exactly what to do and what to say. And I've just criticised Liam for stopping mid-sentence. So.
Exactly. So I think I'm going to be absolutely awful. I think you're going to do a lot better than me.
You've got a lot of faith in me there.
Obviously, we've both done presenting before. I've never presented with someone in my ear.
Me neither.
So I'm probably going to have to take you out one of my headphones because it's just, I mean, no offense to this,
I'm going to be
it's
that
probably going to be unbearable.
Great. That's what our friendship has come to. You finally telling me that hanging out with me is unbearable.
Right. Are we ready? This is going to be
bad.
A car crash. Yes. Okay. So, Greer, you're up first. So I am your ears from the gallery.
Yes.
And you are presenting to camera.
I am.
Okay. And ready in 3.
Wait, what is my item? You tell me at the beginning or what? Or do I come up with an item? Help. Okay.
Yeah, I should probably tell you before.
It's a panic. Okay.
You are selling a luxury memory foam pillow, perfect for a great night's sleep.
Thank you very much, James.
Okay. So I haven't got the timer.
You were going to make me talk for hours about a memory foam pillow.
Okay, so you've got 60 seconds. And ready? 3, 2, 1, you're on.
Hi everyone and welcome to the shopping channel. I'm Greer and today I want to show you this product. We're selling you this wonderful, cozy memory foam pillow. Now, if you've ever had a terrible night's sleep,
give it a satisfying squeeze.
if you, I can't really hear what you're saying to me, but I'm going to keep talking about the pillow because if you've ever had a bad night's sleep, you are going to love this. It's going to change
Talk about
your
the cooling
world.
gel layer.
It has a special layer, as you can see. I didn't quite hear what you said, but there's a special layer.
Tell them it's machine washable.
And what's really good as well is it's also machine washable, so it's accessible for everyone to use, really easy to clean, and you can keep using it to get a nice sleep every single night from when you purchase it.
Look into the camera and say, why wake up groggy when you can wake up refreshed?
So with this memory foam pillow, why wake up groggy when you can wake up refreshed? This will really change your life. Call in.
Time.
What the hell is going on? Wow. What you can't hear is James saying to me specific lines, including look into the camera. So if you follow our Instagram at Back to the Boardroom, you will see me delivering a line about don't be groggy looking into the camera. That's hard.
You did very well. I
Thank
couldn't
you.
keep a straight face.
Yeah, that was making me laugh as well.
So I really don't know how I'm going to survive. So,
Ooh, okay.
So basically, ChatGPT gave me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 prompts, and I think we got through 5.
That's
And
good.
To be honest, I think 10 in a minute is
That's
quite
a
a lot. So maybe on your one,
few.
pick a few. Yeah.
Okay. The problem is, because we're recording, when we talk over each other, it cancels a little bit of the audio out. So that's an extra dynamic for you to deal with. No pressure or anything. James, I'm going to put my prompt into ChatGPT. We've got the same prompt, so it's completely fair, if you were wondering. And let's see what item you are. I don't know what that item is, so I'm going to get it to redo it. 60 seconds on the clock. Are you ready, James? I'm going to tell you your item, and I'm going to hit go. You feeling all right? He's removed one side of his headphones, just to let you know, everyone,
I've
because
actually got
as we
a volume dial here as well. So
I'm
gonna turn
unbearable.
you
Okay, James, your product is a clothes steamer called the Power Steam Pro. And your time starts now.
Hello, everyone. We're here today to look at the Power Steam Pro.
Hold the steamer up and dramatically press the steam button to show them how it works.
So I'm holding it up, if you can see. And here, this button here, right, is the steam button.
Now you
so
need
you'll
to pick
see.
up a crumpled t-shirt and pretend to be horrified by the wrinkles that you're seeing.
So this crumpled t-shirt, absolutely awful. You wouldn't want to be seen out in this.
Use the steamer and then react like it's magically transformed the fabric.
This is absolutely magic. Transformed the fabric, and now you'll be presentable
Act
when
shocked
you go
like
out.
you've just had an update on the price in your earpiece.
New price available. Anyone?
50%
everyone.
off.
50% off. Now only $29.99.
Okay, time.
Oh.
The stress. But you were good. You actually were reacting to what I was saying. I said, in your ears, react like the wrinkles have magically transformed. And you did.
Did you like the little steam sound effect?
Yes, that was good. That was good.
Oh, God. Stressful. Yeah. They should do. This might be a business idea. They should.
Giving all the ideas away tonight.
They should make that an experience. You can do like an escape room. They should do like a TV like experience thing. Obviously doesn't go out anywhere, but I think that would be hilarious.
It would be really funny actually if it was on various different types of TV shows. So they kind of like mocked up sets for different genres, and you could then act out as if you're on This Morning or on the Bake Off or on the Shopping Channel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. We've actually turned the elevator pitch back around into an actual business idea.
We're professional at something. I don't know what it is, but something.
You heard it here first.
Well, as always, please let us know who you think did the best elevator pitch this week and presenting. Is it James? Is it me? Let us know over on Instagram at Back to the Boardroom. And at the end of this series of Back to the Boardroom, we'll count up who has won the elevator pitch, and the other person will have to shower them in compliments or something, or buy them some chocolate. Who knows? But do let us know. Now let's go back to the boardroom, where this week Lord Sugar's jokes were getting a little bit controversial, which I quite liked. Some people were making ooh noises when he was saying them, not just laughs. See, they're shaking it up in many different ways this year.
Indeed. I to be honest, I think I'm enjoying this year more than last year.
I think so.
There's just things that are unexpected, which is nice.
Definitely. And I think because Lord Sugar had been watching, it was really fun for him to give his actual opinions of the task, whereas he didn't have to do too much asking what had happened. He was able to just say exactly what he thought. And he said to Liam, his presenting style looked like he needed to do a wee. And it looked like the whole Hoover debacle, it looked harder to assemble than the Oppenheimer bomb. Wow, we've said bomb.
Yeah,
on The Apprentice.
I thought that was a bit extreme.
A little bit. And then he went on to say that Amber Rose, she didn't use the steamer, but that steamer would even get Prince Andrew to sweat. And you know what I think this is? We saw Lord Sugar enjoying his sort of at-home time with his grandson. And did you notice he was holding like a whiskey or a brandy or something? There was something that didn't look like squash or juice or a cup of tea.
Yes. Yeah. A bit of liquid relaxation.
Yeah, definitely. So I really wasn't sure who was going to win because they both had quite bad products. Some of them were not easy to sell for various different reasons.
I think they always edit it very cleverly, don't they? Because I was pretty certain early on that I was going to say Mia's team,
Liam's team,
sorry, were the favourites. And I think they still were, but when it came to the selling, it became more even, I think.
I think so, definitely. Mia was good at selling, so I can understand why you'd think she was project manager. She did do sort of a lot more than Liam did. It was interesting that you were saying earlier about Dean and Max's sort of quiet feud. I agree with you. I think it was odd that Max seemed really reserved to do anything in that gallery, because that is where you want to change the prices. You want to create a sense of urgency and fun. And he seemed really scared to push any of the audio buttons. And in this bit, he said back to Lord Sugar that, well, it said the word sparkle, but we didn't know what that meant. And Dean was like, well, it was obvious. It was going to be, a noise, and it was going to be a bit of fun. So I agreed with you. I thought Dean actually trying to make the best of it was better than being really reserved and not wanting to touch the buttons.
The thing that I noticed that was by far lacking from previous years was the amount of product detail. I feel like there was hardly any. Maybe we missed that, but from the edit, but there was hardly any detail about the products being provided.
Yeah, there wasn't at all, was there? They said that was a bad point in Mia and Liam's team. They just didn't ask the right questions, but we didn't see the others really ask that much questions either. But I guess maybe the items were self-explanatory. I guess there was the Amazon coffee maker and the air fryer. We did get a little bit of info about that, but when you've got a robe, a picnic blanket, you're just selling a terrible blanket that you don't even use as a real blanket, and also a kayak. That was very specialist. Someone just thought, I'm going to take up kayaking. I don't know. So it was hard. The numbers, I have them written down. Hopefully they are the same as what you have. Tim, he shared that the total number of sales was 1,305. £1,500.68. I'm looking at you for confirmation that's the right number. And Karen said Liam and Mia's team got 1,529 and 63 pence. So there wasn't really a lot in it at the end.
No, not a lot. And those robes might have made the difference.
Who would have thought it? They're definitely not something I'd want to buy. Matching scrunchie, matching eye mask. It's more Halloween than nighttime routine. Oh no, I'm Lord Sugar. Help. I was really surprised actually that they brought Chizola back in because I thought she did really well. I thought, why not bring Amber Rose back in? Because she didn't put the steamer up to her face and things. There were more things wrong, I thought, with Amber Rose's performance on the task than Chizola. And Lord Sugar said, you know, you did really well, so you can stay.
Yeah, exactly. Was there sub-team leaders? Was Chizola maybe the sub-team leader? I don't know. I can't actually remember.
Yeah, I can't remember on that one. The other team with Jordan being really bitter that he didn't get the chance to present. I remember that he was sub-team leader, but yeah, not on the other team.
But yeah, maybe that was why. But yes, I had this feeling that Dean wouldn't go because I feel like, as I've said before, I feel like he tried to take a few calculated risks to try and make it better. I think he definitely had a part to play in the dire selection. He was not going along with everything. Like he said, parasol probably would be better than the blanket. So there was, some discussion there. And at the end of the day, he was overruled. So yeah, I think so. He's on thin ice, but survives this one.
Yes, I wasn't sure. He did that thing of going from Max to Dean, making it sound like Dean was going to go, and then in the end he went back to Max, which I knew you would be quite happy about in a way, because I predicted Max as my winner, I think straight off, but I also predicted Dean as the runner-up, so someone had to go out of my choices, and I was like, I know James is going to be very happy after I was really happy about the double firing last week, because that was my prediction. You'd got one back this week.
Yes, so yes, your initial winner has gone. My initial runner-up went quite a while ago. So we've got Jordan and Dean still in the process from our initial predictions.
We can see. But the thing we really want to know at the moment is, what was that secretary doing before the candidates
Not really
came
worth
in?
an update, to be honest.
Oh.
It's been a repeated chart, so yeah, I'm not going to waste my breath, and yeah, they need to spice it up a bit.
Well, I do have a hidden detail. Brand watch is usually your thing, but this week I spotted a brand on The Apprentice, which you probably did as well. But it was in the scene where Lord Sugar was enjoying watching the shopping channel, and for some reason he had the world's smallest bottle of water in his hand, which said Evian on it. It was clearly Evian. Why was it so small? He'd drunk too much of that whiskey or whatever it was.
Indeed. I have a fair few other brands, actually. I'm probably not going to count most of the stuff they were selling because there was a lot of branding there, like the Lavazza coffee machine. It always seems to be in the treat that we have branded clothing. So this week we had 3 brands that I managed to spot. They weren't actually covered up very well or at all, so they were quite easy. I saw some New Balance trainers, a North Face jacket, and a Mackenzie t-shirt worn by various people. So there we go. Maybe they've got a clothing thing, going on.
Maybe. So we have to talk about the treat as well, because you've just mentioned it. They were wearing their branded clothes, but do you think it was a worthwhile one? It was a high rope activity course. And Lord Sugar said, you're being let loose or something, which I thought was odd.
Yeah, I think it was... So I don't like heights. So I've got to take personal feeling out of this. I think it was at least mid-tier. it's definitely better than that, that band rehearsal thing.
Oh, yeah, the weird rock band karaoke.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd put it above a nice afternoon tea, though. But
I
maybe
wouldn't.
that's just me. So, so we're going around mid-tier. Yeah.
That's good. It was better than some of them, but I agree with you. I'm much more a tea and a tiny sandwich than a harness and a climb around some treetops kind of person.
Indeed. I thought maybe there would be a higher caliber of treat given that we are so near the end.
That is a good point. We'll have to see what it is next week and see whether they've saved some budget back for the later episodes.
Exactly, because I presume the next one is the final treat.
Is it? Are we at that stage?
I don't think you'll get a treat after the interviews and then obviously the final.
Okay. You could be right.
So, yes, I think homework for me, I need to come up with the rankings so I can give you a final rundown next week. And now, for my best part of the show, it's the news with Greer.
I like that. So this week, I thought I would try and find out a little bit more about the other Sugar House member on The Apprentice who we saw, and it's Joe, Lord Sugar's grandson. Joe Barron is his name. I thought it's quite a successful business sounding name as well. Now he's an interesting person because obviously Lord Sugar is wanting possibly to show him off, get him on the show, but at the same time he recently purchased back the rights to the name Amstrad 17 years after selling it to Sky because his grandson Joe wanted to start Amstrad Digital, a sort of a digital online marketing agency, which will be run alongside a digital marketer called Tom Darcy, and they have worked together previously. He's the fourth oldest of Lord Sugar's 7 grandchildren, and he calls him Grandad, which I liked. He does have a diploma in business. I feel like if you are in that family, you're going to have to go down the business route. And he said he had 2 options, either go to university or start work. And he spoke to his granddad, who was the best person to talk to about it. He definitely is. And he said, obviously, that university is great for particular careers, but getting experience is probably the most important thing. So what a great connection to have, your granddad being Lord Sugar, the best business advice ever. And Joe is 21, so starting his own business young, maybe we'll see him return as a future Apprentice presenter down the line. Who knows if he's getting on TV now?
Who knows? Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good.
So James, I'm wanting to know, who did we have go out this time last year, and what have they been doing since their time on The Apprentice?
So I'm going to make it a little quiz for you.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
To figure out who went out this time this year. I'll give you 2 things. It was also the TV selling episode, 1, and 2, there were complaints.
Was it Moira?
Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes, I knew. I cannot remember now what she did on the TV episode.
I can't remember.
It was bad,
but
though.
It was she annoyed the viewers a lot, apparently, and also it wasn't a 1 firing; it was a double firing. Raj also went. Raj Chauhan, who is a mortgage broker from Leamington Spa. So somewhere we are very familiar with. So we will go through both of them very quickly. So it looks like Moira is still doing her yoga business. It looks like she's doing retreats and something called Ashtanga April. I might have butchered that. I don't know whether that is something special or not. There's something about sunrise yoga with Moira, with the little goodie bag she's got on her Instagram. So yeah, still doing a lot of yoga and looks like it's successful.
That's good. Nice to see someone still carrying on their business that they went to Lord Sugar about.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we've got Raj, who there was a great post she put, I think a month ago, saying something that no happiness is bigger than making your parents proud. And talking, I think there's a picture, I think it looks like an M&S cafe, which is perfectly reasonable. Looks like they were catching up over some food and just the post talks about sharing milestones with the parents, and yeah, it's quite a wholesome post and something I can definitely relate to. Having a supportive family and also giving back, updating them where you are, and yeah, being happy to make them proud and thanking them.
Oh, that's really sweet. I'm glad that she's doing well as well. I feel like we had a good link with Raj because she also lived in Leamington Spa like we did.
Absolutely. And it looks like she's still doing some cool projects to do with developments and, her area, which is mortgages. That's all we've got time for this week. Next week, we are going over to the fashion world, designing a garment, and I think doing a catwalk. So it'll be interesting to see what the teams come up with there. The last challenge before those dreaded interviews. As always, you can get in touch with us at Back to the Boardroom on Instagram. And yeah, any final thoughts, Greer?
I do have a final thought, and this is inspired by Chazola's pitch on the picnic blanket. How many picnic blankets have you lost in your lifetime?
Nice. Love it. Well, I'll think about that and see you next week.
Bye.